Let me see if I can find where I've done that. Okay, it says I'm screen sharing, so let me see if I can get into D2L. Can y'all see this on the screen? It says issues with Kaltura.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Thank goodness I'm not using Kaltura. I'm sick of that last spring. Golly, I can't seem to get, well, is it further down? Show all that. Yeah, my courses are further down. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay, so this should be the same for both college algebras. Okay, so you start your course. I always hit the word content to try to spread things out. I was trying to, like I say, first two things were up above, then they made me load the template in. So that's what I was doing with module 1 and module 2, but people told me they found that confusing, and I don't know if you all did the same, but the start here to finish here is strictly school content. I haven't posted a thing in there, and I'm not messing with it. So what I'm doing, I'm posting the links to all Zoom meetings by date here. And then I did a module 3 before I did this. So now what I've done is if you go to assignments, it's probably up above. Okay, I've loaded every assignment we've made. So for the very first week, August 17th to 21, under this, and the WebAssign Google form for that. And now I've loaded the assignments for 1.4 and 1.6. I think I recopied the video for that into here, and the Google form for the web assignment. Then the assignments for next week, which will be 8/31 to September 4th, that'll be the next thing on the list. I'm putting all assignments with their due dates under assignments. And then the quizzes, the only one loaded right now is quiz 1, I believe. No, there's more. I put all of them here. So I put the syllabus quiz with its Google form, quiz 1 off the first week, first 2 sections with its Google form. Tomorrow I'm going to post quiz 2, and it'll be the next thing down the list here, all under quizzes. Right now, that's all there is here. When we get the tests, I'll have a blank below. I'll put all the tests under a label tests, and at the very end, the final exam will be under its own label, final exam. I'm hoping you will find this less confusing. I know probably the first time you've seen it, does it seem less confusing?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, as you use it, you can tell me if you can think of more improvements. Any questions about this? Or are y'all ready to charge into a few problems?
I had questions about the actual, like, the textbook.
Okay.
There are like some problems on there.
Right.
Or just general things, but I don't have questions about this, so.
Okay, well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, sorry, let me look at my notes real quick. Okay, so for section 1.4, okay, there's one part where it says the discriminant. Would it be easier if I like shared my screen?
But now you're out of the book, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if you'll look at the practice problems, I did not assign those.
No, I know.
Okay.
So for section 1.4, there's this one thing that says the discriminant.
Right.
Okay, and I want to show you kind of where I was confused.
Okay. because I really wasn't going to mention the discriminant. That's why I left that section of problems off.
Yeah, I just it says the square root of b squared minus 4ac,
Right.
and then but on the problems down here, they don't take the square root of it. So
Okay.
like on section 8, would it be easier if I shared my screen, or do you want me to just?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so can you see this? Hold on.
Yes, I can.
Let me full screen this real quick. So right here, it says, the b squared minus 4ac,
Right.
and then when you come down over here, right here, like 20 right there,
Right.
see how they didn't square root it right there? The 4 squared minus 4, ac, they
Right.
didn't square root it and they got 20. So are we supposed to square root it, or are we not supposed to square root it?
Okay. The point, what they're saying here, here's the point. I guess this is where I need to switch to the camera. They're really not asking you to solve the equation here. Let me switch to the camera, my camera, and I'll try to make a point where they're getting this discriminant off the quadratic formula.
Okay.
Let me see if I can, let's see.
Should I stop sharing the screen?
Well, I don't, maybe that's why I can't get to the, yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, let's see.
Are you trying to turn the camera on?
Yeah, I'm trying to turn the camera on.
There should be a button that just says start video. The bottom left-hand
Yeah,
side.
it's, let's see, okay. Okay, can you? Can you see my pad of paper?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let's see. Unfortunately, it's looking, don't have it. I'm not a well-oiled machine today. Okay, well, rather than mess, I don't have it on whatever Zoom mode it is. Okay. Let me, see if I can, what they're saying is, looks like, it looks like I'm writing sideways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just the camera is sideways.
Yeah, the camera is sideways. Let me see. Aha,
That's better.
that's better. My technical assistant is doing his own schoolwork. Okay, yeah, on the quadratic formula, when you have negative b, big square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, this stuff under here, that's what they call the discriminant. I won't write it out. So the question or the issue they're dealing with is case 1 that you showed me on that other screen. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, which means it's positive, you will be able to take a square root of a positive number and you will get 2 real solutions.
Okay, so basically what they were saying is like even though the equation is the square root of b squared minus 4ac, they really just want the b squared minus 4ac and they don't want you to square root it.
You don't even, for that issue, if their only issue was how many solutions does it have?
Oh yeah, so they
And
didn't want us to square root it in that case?
yeah, in that case, you don't have to square root it. They don't even want you to find the solutions because you'd have to do the entire formula. So the issue
Okay,
was,
that
tell me how many,
answers my
yeah. So
question.
you don't even have to square root it. You just have to be able to plug in the B, the A, the C. Comes out positive, you automatically have two real solutions.
Okay.
Do I need to show you the other two cases or is that
No,
enough?
I understand now.
All
I
right,
do have one other question
sure.
though. Um, Here, should I start sharing my screen again real quick?
Sure, go ahead. Do I need to stop sharing mine?
I think it'll automatically stop sharing the other screen.
Okay, sure thing. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, hold on, let me get to it. It was 1.6 um under applications, or was it? Hold on. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, so right here, down here where it says an equation involving fractional powers.
Right,
So this right here, um, so it does the W equals and then W squared, right? But does this only work if the W can be squared to make the W squared? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
does it only work if the fractions are squarable? Because this right here is, 1x to the 1/6 power squared equals x to the 1/3 power.
right.
So does this case only work if the fractions right here are like, if you square this one, you get this one?
Yeah, basically the numbers in those powers have to be double.
Yeah. So
That's
is
right.
this, in this
That's the,
case, it only works with that?
that is correct.
So how would you do an equation that the fractions did not work like that?
You'd have
Like,
to,
what's an equation? Sorry, you go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead and finish.
Well, so like if you had an equation like um this equation up here, but it was like x to the power of 1/7 plus x to the power of 1/6 minus 2. If it was something like that, how would you solve it if you could not do this w squared plus w equals or minus 2?
Your, that case would not work by clean algebra. We're
Okay.
kind of sticking to ones that are factorable or have that quadratic formula work.
So you won't ever give us something that says like that. It'll always be able to do this.
That is correct. In fact, I won't even give you these because these are over by problem 59 and we did not put those on the practice.
Okay. I got you. Thank you.
Okay,
That's all I got.
sure, no problem. Does anybody else want to see any problems worked?
Yeah, I had a question in the section 1.6 on when it talks about an equation with fractional expressions. I was kind of confused as to where some of those like numbers came from when they were working it out.
Can you give me the example or problem number?
It's problem 27. It's right under the example. It's just one that it wanted us to work out.
So we're on page 138, problem 27.
I'm not sure what the page number was. It was just in the like when I was working through the book, it was just the exercise.
If I wrote it, it reads 1 over x plus minus 1 plus 1 over x plus 2 equals 5/4.
Yeah, that one.
That one. You want to see it worked out?
Yeah, please.
Start on the top of a clean sheet of paper. We're going to be here a while. These fraction equations take a good bit of work. I'm going to see if I can get back to my camera. And once again, I'm upside down. Okay. Try to write a little bigger. I don't have it as magnified today. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm not getting it as magnified today, but I hope you can read this. We're on page 138.
If you swipe it to video instead of photo, it will probably be a little bit more magnified.
Maybe. Let's see. Would that work? I hadn't tried that. Ah, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
From 27, 1 over x minus 1 plus 1 over x plus 2 is equal to 5 over 4. All right, there's some issues with these kind of equations. And the first issue is there can be, we mentioned this in the Zoom meetings the other night, but y'all may not have made them. There's some issues with what I call illegal numbers. Meaning it's very possible to do the algebra I'm about to show you and come up with x equals 1. If I do that, any answer I get has to be able to be plugged in to this and get the same number on the left as on the right to be legal. Well, can you tell there's a problem with 1? If I come up with x equal 1 here, I'll get 1 over 1 minus 1, which means 1 over 0, which means I'm dividing by 0. That is the one illegal operation in math. Can't do that.
And also on the other one, you would end up with 1/3, which isn't going to equal 2.
Well, the idea is you would wind up with 1/3, but here you wind up with 1 over 0. You wind up with 1 over 0 plus 1/3 equals 5/4.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 is not a legal answer, but it's possible to come up when I do the algebra. Can you tell the problem at this x? It's going to be what? What makes me divide by 0 here? A negative 2, right? If I come up with a negative 2, I'll be dividing by 0. You can see where those come from. I'm setting in my head, I'm setting both of these to 0. This x would come up 1. This x would come up negative 2. So what happens is I come over here and I label this an illegal number list. And I'll have x equals 1 on it and x equals negative 2 on it. If very common that one of these numbers will come up and another one will. So you've got to be able to reject this one that comes up. It's illegal. If both of them come up, occasionally it happens, very rarely actually, there's no solution at all. Is this very new to you, or have you seen anything like this before?
It's new.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
It's new.
It's new. Okay, so yeah, this is going to come up the rest of the semester. On fraction equations, you got to watch for answers that make your bottom 0. And if they come up, you got to reject them and not report it. So that's the very first thing I look for. I look for any illegal numbers. There's other situations this is going to come up too, and we're going to refer back to it. So I'm on the watch for these two numbers. Okay, now to actually solve, what you want to do is clear these fractions. I call this the I hate fractions method. That means you want to multiply through by the common denominator. The common denominator is every piece on bottom once. I'll write it down really explicitly. I'll use CD for common denominator. I need an x minus 1. I need an x plus 2, and I need the 4. I'll put the 4 in front. I'm going to multiply every piece by that. So this is where it gets long, because I'm going to write these 3 pieces beside every single piece up here and show you what happens, and it's going to look pretty long and horrendous. Okay, I'm going to go 4 times x minus 1 times x plus 2 times 1 over x minus 1. That's the first piece. And then I'm going to write it again. 4 times x minus 1 times x plus 2 times 1 over x plus 2. That's the second piece. And I got to do it one more time for the 5/4. I don't know if I can squeeze it on or if I should go a little line below. Equals 4 times x plus 1 times x plus 2. I'm sorry, it was x minus 1, my fault. That was x minus 1. X plus 2 times 5/4. I'm going to have to, for the next Zoom session, figure out what I did wrong. I've been using a wide angle, and this is a minus 1. Maybe I should write it above x minus 1. Should we pause for station identification? I haven't actually done anything yet. I'm just trying to work through it real slow so you can see what the cancellations are. The whole point of this is to cancel things and get rid of the fractions. Have we lost anybody?
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Okay. So you see what happens on the first piece. The x minus 1 cancels. And I'm going to multiply through what's left, 4x plus 8. The 4 distributes. I go to the second piece. The x plus 2 cancels. I'm left with 4x minus 4 equals, and when I do this, just the 4's cancel. I'm going to put the 5 in front. I've got the x minus 1 and the x plus 2. My fractions are cleared. They're gone. Do we need to pause for station identification? I'm going to work the algebra down. There's a lot more steps to go, and if I come up with a 1 or a -2, they're illegal. I don't know what numbers are going to come up, but they do have cases a lot of times where these illegal numbers do come up. They're trying to trick you. Can we go on?
Yes.
Okay. It's just a matter of combining like terms and boiling stuff down. 4x plus a 4x is 8x. 8 minus 4, positive 4. The other side's got a lot more work to do. I'm going to hold the 5, big parentheses, and do a FOIL on this. You don't do 5 times this and 5 times that. It uses the 5 too much. Hope y'all are good FOILers. X times x. X times 2. I call that round 1. You distribute the x through this, write it down. Round 2, -1 times x minus x. -1 times 2, -2. There's nothing you can do with the 8x plus 4. It just keeps copying down. It's unlike. I guess I'll combine these terms before I distribute the 5. So I have 5 and x squared plus x minus 2. 2x minus x, a positive x. Now I'm going to distribute the 5. 5x squared plus 5x minus 10. All right, I got to flip to the next page. I'm out of room. Do we need to pause for station identification?
No, I'm good.
Okay, with a squares, letters, and numbers, you want to get a 0 on side and write it with a square letter number. You like your squares positive, so I'm going to leave that alone. Minus 8x, minus 8x, minus 4, minus 4. That'll give me a 0 here. 5x squared didn't change. 5x minus 8x be a negative 3x. A negative 10 minus 4, a negative 14. I'm going to switch to the next page. I think I'm going to switch it around so it looks like this equals 0. So I've got 5x squared minus 3x minus 14 equals 0. Are we losing anybody?
No.
No.
Okay. This may factor. We don't teach the pattern anymore. If the 5 wasn't there, I would look for the two numbers, multiply into 14, add to 3. But with the 5 there, that method's all screwed up. So I just instantly, when I see this, I just instantly go to the quadratic formula. Can I just plug and chug real quick into the quadratic formula, or do I need to tell everybody what their A, B, and C is and write the whole formula down?
No, you can just go into it.
Okay. So we start with a negative b, which is going to turn it positive 3. Add and subtract a big square root. The b squared would be a 9. 3 squared is 9. Minus 4 times the a is 5 times the c is negative 14. And we divide by twice the a, which is going to be 10. That's about as quick as I write it down. All right, we're going to get 3 plus or minus big square root 9, and with a negative times negative there, a positive, whatever 20 times 14 is. I should have a calculator somewhere. Oh, got it. 20 times 14. 20 times 14. It's like it's 280. Now I add the 280 and 9. Should be obvious, it's 289. I believe you're going to find, always test it out. If the 289 does not have a nice whole number square root, you're done. But I believe it does. So I always check for it because you don't have them all memorized. What is the square root of 289? Well, it's 17. So yes, if it does have a clean whole number square root, you need to take it. If it came up a decimal, I'd have quit. I wouldn't have even worked it out. Now this busts up into two cases. 3 add 17 divided by 10. 20 over 10. 2. Second case, 3 minus 17 divided by 10. That'd be negative 14 over 10. Need to reduce them down if you can, and they're both even, so 2 goes in. Looks like a negative 7 over 5. Always check back with your illegal number list. Kind of forgotten what they were. 1 and -2. 1, -2. Well, that's +2, so it's legal. -7/5. Both are legal answers. So x equals 2 and -7/5 are legal. Writing off the page there, sorry. Neither one of them is on the illegal number list. If one of them was, if this had been a -2, I'd have marked it off. Make sure you show me that. If you put both lists and one of them is illegal, I've got to nick you because you've reported an illegal answer. But these are both legal answers. They're not on, they would work back in the original if you wanted to see the next 2 pages to actually check it. Anybody want to ask about anything back through that? I'm getting the mood of the room to put a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said no, but I had a question about 1 and 1.4.
Sure.
It was one for the WebAssign, and it's where it has like decimal points, and that one just like confused me so much. Do you want me to just give you the
Can you
number?
feed me the problem?
Mm-hmm. So it's x squared minus 2.456x plus 1.250 equals 0.
Equals 0. Did you want to see this plugged into the quadratic formula?
Yes.
Okay. So positive 2.456, that's your negative b. Big square root, 2.456, I'll just write it squared since it isn't obvious what it is. Minus 4 times the a is 1, times the c is 1.25, we can drop the 0. And you're going to divide it by 2. 2 times 1. So it's just a matter of punching away and just step by step. Next thing we want is the 2.456 squared. Or if you want, you could punch the whole thing under the root all at once. 2.456 squared. Well, that's a long number to write down. Maybe I'll go ahead and subtract the 4 times 1.25. Okay, I'm coming up with 1.031936. It's still under the root. Square root 031936. Kind of to speed it up, I punched that whole thing by itself, or well, 2 steps, but I did the square and then I subtracted 4 times 1.25. And it's still divided by 2. So now I need the square root of that. I'm going to use my A and S key. If you go square root of A and S, whoa, I'm getting a long number. Let's chop it off at 1.0158. 56, add and subtract 1.0158. Do we need to pause for station identification? Are we losing anybody?
No.
So again, just 2 cases. You got to take case 1, this, add this, divide by 2. Case 2, subtract them, divide by 2. Write it out. 2.456. Add 1.0158, divide it by 2. If you're going to punch this all at once, make sure you stick it in parentheses on these calculators. 2.456. And I just did not take my own advice. Parentheses 2.456 and add 1.0158. Close parentheses and divide it by 2. 1.7359. If you're really slick with these things, since I just want to subtract them and divide by 2, there's an edit. If I go second enter, notice how it called it back with the plus sign. So if I want to come up here and I can run the cursor over to the plus, oops, too far, plus, there, right on the plus, punch over it with a minus. Hit enter, 0.7201. Let's see. Well, I didn't write down. Okay, so answer 1 is right here. I guess I'll draw a line. Answer 2 was 2.456 minus 1.0158. X equals divided by 2, and that came up 0.7201. Now, I don't know what form. This can get a little tricky entering in WebAssign because I don't know how many decimal places it wants.
Yeah, it wanted 3. It wanted rounded 3 decimal points.
3, so you'd call that 1.736. Now, we did round this answer. See, that's where it introduces some stuff. So I don't know if we screwed it up by rounding this answer. I'm coming up with it. It may or may not mark this correct. This would be 0.720 to 3 places. Yeah, that darn WebAssign can be a little bit of a pit. We're at over our 30 minutes. Can we call it a day, or do anybody want to say anything else before we end the meeting? Don't hear anything. Any objections to ending the meeting? We will have another meeting at 9 p.m. tonight. You're certainly welcome. You can stand it. All right, so we can end the meeting?
Yes,
sir.
thank you.
Okay, sure thing. 9 p.m. tonight, if anybody wants to see it. I will record this and post it in D2L. Otherwise, we end the meeting. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it.